Yeah, apparently I'm not ready. My green screen isn't apparently covering everything I thought it was.
Oh, I see that edge.
Hey, all right. What the? When I sat down, I hit the desk and it was like, whoa. All right, cool. So I will open my stuff. Even though last time I was like, all right, I'm going to make my own while you make yours. And then it never happened because I just talked the whole time. But you've seen the character sheet. I think it's funny to be hand-drawn and stuff. Makes me laugh.
I love it. Yeah. The lines in the identity, even though it's one box. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. So, I guess you know the basics already, but houses exist and they sort of run the whole empire for whatever they are.
Yep.
Whether they're like super regional or local, or whether they're like, grand, and then for this specific thing that I'm planning or whatever, we're gonna have champions and stewards that come from those houses to do the whole sigil and like hang out and set up your next year's trades and advantageous deals, stuff like that. So that's why everyone's coming. Yeah, so you have like ideas or whatever for your house already?
Yeah, I've got I know how much you loved me being a thug when we did Atlas, so I thought that I was going to go for something like the sanitation house, because they would not be treated seriously, but they'd be very rough, and it would be very inspired by a character in Terry Pratchett, who is incredibly rich from doing all of these things that nobody wants to do.
Okay.
Completely rough, completely gruff. But all he wants to do is to have his family live the high life.
Okay.
I was thinking that kind of thing, and fighting to be recognised as a serious house and to be there, it'd be interesting because nobody would treat you seriously.
Let me scroll up real quick.
Your champion as well could be a right thug.
Let's see. Okay. Ah, dang it. That was the third one. So for these things, basically, because I can't predict what you're going to say, right? I'm like, okay, well, I need like really sort of basic, generic things that you might encounter, just so that we can like test it and do a little bit of rolling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The stuff I prepped is not anywhere close to that. So that's cool, whatever.
Well, that was just nice. That's one of my ideas. That was the more goofy idea. Absolutely.
I'm down. That's kind of the same vein Gob went, but not. I would say goofy because I wasn't expecting it and it doesn't really like fit. But yeah, do you know what Gob did?
I don't.
Okay, so Gob was like, all right, I know you said you're making like a meeting of heroes and stuff like that. I'm gonna do. This is what he chose. He chose basically socialism, and so everyone is equal in his system, and none of them are heroes. So we had to like work out a way that these regular people could be on the same level as all these heroes, and we worked it out. So yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Like immediately, I was like, "Well, I'm screwed." All right, never mind.
That's good.
But yeah, we made it work. So whatever, we can make this work too. That's the whole point. Like, is there a way to make this, like, any idea you could think of, pull it and put it out and make it work? So cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what they're called? Just waste management systems?
I think it would be waste management.
All right, cool. Cool. Do they have like a sort of like a region, or are they like empire-wide waste systems?
I would say that if they've got major cities, they're probably quite established there. They would be trying to push out from those cities to more rural areas now.
So they have like basically offices or something, like places they work out of within major cities. All right, cool. There are major cities. I have a little ghetto map, which I don't know where it is again, that I can show you. Gosh, where is that? It's super ghetto though. Oh yeah, here it is.
I wouldn't expect anything else.
It's so ghetto. It's not even like a form. I have to open the program that I was making it in because I haven't even pulled it out. So it kind of looks like this.
Bear with me.
Yeah, no problem. I can share it to Discord also.
That's all right.
Oh.
There we go. Okay.
All right. So super basic, right? But we have capital here, which is a star, and then all these little dots are cities that I think exist. So I have like houses prepped for, like NPCs basically, and so all these like little random dots are those, and then the sigil occurs at this little symbol every year. So I put that there. What the heck? But yeah. Basically, there are major cities all over the place. We'll just assume that waste management has operating buildings in sort of all of them. And then do you already have like champion and steward and stuff?
So yeah, I was thinking a proper rough champion, and then to contrast it, somebody who's very sort of trying to be very posh for the steward.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Zerg is what I wrote for your champion. It doesn't have to be that.
It is the berserker, sort of style.
Okay.
But grown up on the street sort of style, definitely.
So you already have their names and stuff?
I have not thought of names yet.
All right. Well, whatever. Their names don't matter, but yeah.
It's
and then to get their stats, super easy. 7 die.
Dice roll open.
Oh, awesome! I don't have mine, but I mean, okay. Well, I'll just make my own, like I said I was going to. Piece of paper or something. I'll just write it up here. So it's super easy. 7 dice, 7. Yeah. And then they are 6-sided. I don't know if I covered that, but they are 6-sided die. Mine does 7 all at once. If I add them all, there's a free app for the phone, which is really nice. Doesn't even have any ads.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you do the rolling then.
Oh no, I mean you could do your own and I'll do mine.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You do 7 dice, and then you take the 4 that you choose. It doesn't have to be the highest 4. I would recommend it, but it doesn't have to be, You do that 5 times, and then you assign their stats into these boxes. So.
Absolutely. You do that per character, don't you?
Right. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Ooh. Oh God.
Ooh. Okay. I got some good rolls. Got a total of 33 on one of them. Oh no, they're all 4.
Well, no, highest 4 die.
I know.
My bad. Okay.
Yeah. I know. I thought it was really good, but actually, it's just a high average.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
maths now. That's the part that's hard.
Oh, easy. I am going to choose this low number though to make it interesting.
Interesting.
Oh, oops. right, I got my first character set here. Let's randomize. To enter. Oh. Ooh, this one has to take a low roll.
I see what you mean by taking the low numbers sometimes. It doesn't make sense for my steward to be super strong.
Yeah. Obviously you could do that, but oh wait, what? Oh yeah, I did know about this. Okay. The two fields, and I told you about it, presence and identity, are like mixed from the steward. I don't know how. It seems impossible for it to be mirrored, but apparently it is. So I haven't fixed it yet.
Which bit is it again? Sorry, on the steward. It's the
on the steward. The last one, the presence one. If you type something there, it also pops up in identity for the champion. Although. I feel like last time it was in the steward one, but anyway. Very strange. I don't know why. So I have these.
I will quickly just do my second character now. It's been a bit slow.
Cool. No problem. I've done it a bunch of times. So I'm like, okay, do this, done. I'm thinking of like a house to make. Oh, I got it. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yup.
This one rolled really badly. Love it.
Female name. Let's see here.
What have you found? Stacy.
Yep. Stacy and Paolo. The street stall fruit merchants.
Nice.
Yup.
That implies all the other brands of stalls have their own house as well. That'd be interesting.
Well, I mean, it's possible, or maybe the market itself in like a large city has its own house, so it would be like city name, like capital market or stall market vendors or something like that, you know. And so you like have to make agreements with the house in order to sell things there, stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh.
Luckily, I don't have to have anything worked out.
Right.
Yeah, it's Paolo and Stacy, but in the classic style of that sort of language difference. He calls her a Stacy. with a little E at the beginning. It's Stacy.
Right, how do I do the plus or minuses? Sorry. You've
So it's
explained it in
just,
the video, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's just all of these people are sort of they're all heroes. They're sort of the best of the best. So their average person skill or amount or whatever is 20. So the modifiers are just the difference from 20.
Gotcha. That's very easy. I like it. My steward is all minuses. Let's go.
I have not made a character with all minus. Well, okay, I have, but they're unique.
That's how the dice rolled.
Wow. So I've done a bunch of these, and I was like, is it even possible to not get an advantageous like person at all? And you've proven it is possible. Yeah. So that's dope.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I added that one up wrong. It is. That's 19. Okay, he's only -1 in one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Not -2. Okay.
Paolo has a -6 on presence, but as a street stall merchant, in this setting as a hero anyway, not really gonna be.
So my steward has a -3 to present. -5 to presence.
Dang.
Very.
All right. Well,
struggling to be present.
Okay, so then you have identity below that. Identity is really just the story narrative you want to do. With one of them being broken, it's kind of difficult to put in your champion's identity, but it's basically like, here's what the house is, here's how my character identifies, here's what their gender is, here's what they look like. Whatever you want to put in, it doesn't matter as long as you know what it is. What the house is, what the character is, all of that stuff. It's all sort of just a block to explain your thoughts.
Okay.
I'll put that they're traveling. All right. And then we have their abilities down here at the bottom, or midway down the page. I'm not actually looking at the sheet like a sheet. Zoom out real quick. Their abilities are, and again, I want it to be anything you can think of. So,
okay,
like eloquent speech or something like that. It doesn't. If for example we're fighting, your character can do basically anything they want to do just automatically. If you want to flip over a chair backwards and smash someone in the face, if your character would do it, do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter, right? If they want to attack any way they want to, it's just roll and attack, right? But these abilities are the things that they specialize in. So their highest one, the +4, they know how to do it. They've practiced it a lot, but it takes the most out of them, whatever it is. So if it's an attack, it's like their overhand slice that they like jump up and put all of their power into, and they slice down. That's going to have the highest chance of hitting, but also the least amount of uses because it takes the most out of them, right? It could also be non-combat. If it's like inspiring speech or whatever, and they just like stop on the battlefield if they're still in the fight and they say some inspiring junk, that's up to you. I don't care. It doesn't matter. And then the way it works out is if you can use the ability in a way that makes sense, then you can use it for any of your stats up at the top. So we had in Gob's scenario, he had like the strength in numbers kind of ability, and normally that would be used to like just make you stronger, right? So like your attacks are stronger, but we thought of a way that he could use it defensively to use or to modify his grit instead, by, for example, pulling up a big stone in front of him that other people probably couldn't lift, but because he's got the strength, he's pulling it up, or like ripping a door off the hinges. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if it doesn't have to be like laser beam, it can be literally anything you want, and you can use them sort of in any way you want as well. There are probably ways to make I'm blanking on whatever that D&D spell is. The one that magic missile. There's probably ways you can use magic missile to defend yourself. I don't know what they would be, but you probably could.
Yep. Okay. So in this case, sometimes your steward might be in the combat rather than champion.
Especially if you're wanting that, like it. Yeah. If you've got two individuals who are very strong, they come from a house that's all fighting, then your steward might be just as competent as your champion for a fight. If it's like the capital's library, and the champion is also a book nerd, maybe the champion who might be in the fight isn't necessarily as strong as the other people, but you were required to bring these two people, right? So they just are whoever they are, and the whole purpose is that you don't have to fight all the time. The way the sigil works is, there's a lot of deals being made, and some of them can be influenced by combat, but you don't have to. You can talk it out. You can make deals with other houses and then bring that to the table and say, oh, well, I have these people backing me, so let's not do this fight. Let's, if you do this fight, these people are going to fight too, and it's going to be this whole thing, so maybe you shouldn't do that. Stuff like that. So literally anything you could think of, we could put here, and it will hopefully work out. I don't know, but in the same thing with when we RP, like your limits make things more interesting anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking maybe my champion was wouldn't be as armored, but I was just thinking to give him a little bit of, pizzazz. Yeah. Give him some like armored gauntlets, properly armored, like quite heavy, but he just uses them to stop swords and things. And he goes in for the grapple, basically. It's like, yeah, goodbye to your sword. Fist. Obviously, he puts himself at risk for that, so that would be a good +4 one.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I was thinking it through.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put something like for Paolo, just juggling, just basic juggling.
All right.
Because depending on what he's got in his hands, he could use it defensively. He could, throw them in front of the swords or into someone's face or whatever, in a crazy display, or he could potentially attack with like juggling 3 watermelons and then smashing one or something. I don't know.
Why not? Absolutely.
The armor gauntlets are like PPE.
What's that, sorry?
Yes, personal protective equipment or whatever.
That's exactly what they are, yes. Just so you can get in close enough to punch these people with the fancy swords.
Nice.
Yeah, they're not going to be like sharp or pointed or anything. They're literally just there to... No swords.
Perfect.
As again, obviously, if they're fast enough, or it's like a dueling sword rather than a big hacking one, you'd be in trouble. But
Does he use it for waste management as well? They're like his normal working gauntlets.
I would think that there would maybe, he wouldn't actually bring something that filthy to this event.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But they may be modelled after that to sort of remind people.
Oh, right, because they're rich. Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, they are very rich. Okay. So I'd probably just put like a grapple at the top ability, and then maybe that goes in gear with the armored gauntlets. Because we've got to sort of know the context.
Right, yeah. So gear affects your D6 rolls all the time. So if you're attacking or whatever you're doing, normally it's attacking. I can't really think of rolling D6s that aren't attacks, but
Okay.
Let me think about it. I did not do the stuff I said I was going to do with my notes, but I did put them all in one place so that I can just skim through them and be like, okay, here's combat stuff. Cool, I'm going to read this. So let me look through that. Is there a way to search in my notes? Surely. Find a note. Perfect.
Brilliant. Technology.
I do think that there should be a way to mitigate damage using your gear.
Yeah.
Because you have the gauntlets. And so I was working on this. I haven't tested it. Maybe we could test it. But I do think it might also be really broken. But at the same time, like a full set of armor is broken against someone who doesn't have it. Like, so okay, okay. So like if you have, I'm just gonna do some testing while you work on your abilities.
Absolutely.
So let's do 4 grand. Also, I figured out what this weird die that I bought is. I thought it was printed wrong, but it's a 7-sided die.
Oh, okay.
Yup, it's freaking weird. Yup, it's so odd that like the numbers are on the like edges and stuff. It's really strange. But
I'd be impressed if they've managed to get it to balance perfectly between the set.
I don't think it's balanced because one of the sides is bigger, but it does work. Like, it's just really weird.
You hear that, everyone? This is how he's got bigger scores, because he's using D7 instead of D6s. Yeah.
Yup, that's it. I think this is going to be really loud, so I haven't rolled it yet, but I'm... All right. So let's see. Roll 9. They roll... Ooh, also 9.
Slight rumble. That's not too loud.
Yeah, I bought a gigantic die because I thought, oh, this will be fun and it'll be like visible, but I didn't think out how loud it would be. So you attack with your, let's see, this. You mitigate 4. Hmm. Yeah, suit of armor is really strong. if you modify grit like that. But you're also weaker. You're a lot weaker. All right, it might just naturally balance itself out.
I mean, the suit of armor doesn't have to be a +4 necessarily.
Well, so the way yeah, but the way gear works is you choose those as well.
Yeah.
And you have 4 points you can put into gear. So if you chose to put like the best suit of armor you could, all 4 modifies grit. I do think that like you made your choice. You put it into defense, right? So all you have to do is survive long enough to deal enough damage to someone else because you're wearing a suit of armor. And if they put all their gear points into, say, like a holy magic sword or something, and they did 4 on combat ability or something, then it would balance out because they're slicing harder into your, for example, suit of armor. But if they only had 2 points or something in it, then they could mitigate your attacks as well if they had like 2 points in light armor or something. So
Right.
So you're attacking. Yeah, I think it does balance out, maybe, but it still feels really broken.
You just have to make the enemy stronger. God forbid anyone doesn't have armor.
Well, the enemies are all sort of just like everyone else, right? It's hundreds of houses made up of the heroes. So everyone, at least in this event that we're going to, is all relatively equal. Some of us have some stronger minuses, but overall it equals out. Only the rich of the rich might have advantages, I guess. You know what I didn't think of? What about negatives in gear? That would be insane. I don't think anyone would do that.
I mean, for certain houses, it might make sense that they have some kind of ornament or something they carry around that does give negatives.
Well, I was going to put a
You might
sun
have a
hat.
banner man or something, and that banner wouldn't be as useful as a club.
Yeah, true. I was gonna put a sun hat on my champion, but I'll still give him a plus for it. 2. Presence, I guess. Why not? Combat ability. Yeah, what would he have? Oh. Really sturdy shoes. I'll do 2. gave him an abacus.
Hmm.
You working through abilities and stuff?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've come up with some basic ones from a champion. Tackle, grapple, tackle. So the grapple's going to be more standing up, tackle, just to charge at someone and knock them over. And then intimidate, and just for the last one, I just thought flex. Just get some of that presence up.
Okay.
Sure. And for my steward, the top one has to be, because I'm the waste management, verbal diarrhea. Just overwhelm someone with overwhelm someone with just talking at them constantly. That I will have to probably just say the character does that. I don't know if I can manage it. As much as I have taken some inspiration from some of your characters, I don't know if I can manage.
Zekros was like, Zekros was like, hey, can you make a character and just give me more like building limit on Conan? And I was like, yeah, I'll work on that. And he was like, hey, we're evil. And I was like, all right, well, let me think of like some basic evil thing. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make a vampire who's like, good evening, but talks really slow, but will just like drone on and on about like all the evil that he's done and like how beneath him other people are and stuff, but just drone on and on really slow. I was like, that's my evil character. But then I didn't have Conan installed, so I never made it. But unlucky.
Many a people have not lost hours to that. I'm sure that happened. But it sounds great.
What about like identifying waste or toxin or like diseases or something like that?
Yeah, I could do something definitely do something like that.
I mean, especially because your steward is trying to advance the field or whatever to make more money, right?
Yeah, I'd probably just put like expert in field, just to kind of I'll just make that an ability. But he has got the second ability, which is fact check. So I'm sort of I'm also giving him an item which is a notebook on all the houses.
Okay, perfect.
His stats is so bad, he needs some kind of extra. A little bit of perfect. You have to keep referring back. He's not a natural at this.
It's like, let me look through.
And then, because you did say that he may be in combat, I did put his last ability is unexpected violence.
Okay.
It's not expecting this person to just suddenly get stabby. Why not?
The snap out of nowhere. Oh no. So just to make sure these modifiers are into your D20 rolls, and the number of uses is the same concept as a long rest, but really per day, per long rest, per whatever it is, so that they can recuperate and recover.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay. And I've just for the gear for the champion. Just gone with the gauntlets. I don't really know what to do with plus on those, and I've gone for steel cap toes shoes as well.
So you've got 4 points you can assign here, and then you can only modify your stat once. So if you choose the gauntlets and they do grit or they do combat ability, you can't super boost that again with another item. You know what I mean?
Right, gotcha.
Even though it wouldn't matter because of the way it works, it could matter in the future. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, explain the brilliant stat to me, just to be sure how it will work for the steward. Is that something the steward would be looking for?
I do think so. I will. I have it actually written out.
Brilliant.
In a lot of this system, I felt like is just, does it make sense, or how would this play out realistically? So brilliance is your intelligence sort of stat. It's also your investigative stat. It's your ability to identify things, your awareness of danger, all of that sort of thing is brilliance. Does it make, is your character either smart enough or street smart enough to overcome whatever this thing is coming at it, right?
So the notebook would make sense for brilliance, then, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And brilliance could be let's see, waste. Figuring out where a leak is, like if someone has built some rudimentary piping system into a lord's manor or whatever, your character using their brilliance would know, like, okay, here's what the common issues are, that sort of like handyman thing of, oh, I've seen this a bunch of times, that sort of thing. But it could also be like, oh, I saw a possible design in a library, while I was looking for a different problem, and I saw this design, and so I worked out like, oh, this is how it could be built, but it's never been built before, but I have this knowledge anyway. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Whereas presence is more intimidation. It's what's the other one that I wrote down? Negotiation, political influence, just being scared, or not being scary, but being connected. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yup.
Trying to think of a last item. Sure, no. Basic tools. You've always got to have someone who's got basic tools. That goes in his brilliance. He's really good at his job. There you go.
He's pulling out wrenches and screws and like long thin wire and like random junk.
His brilliance is -4, so he's not going to be amazing at it.
Oh my! Wait, your steward?
No, my champion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he might just be holding those tools for another person at this point. Actually, no.
Perfect.
I mean, yeah. All right. Let me see if I can get this over to you. You can show it.
Oh, okay.
If I can find where I just saved it.
Right. That was my problem too. I was like, oh man, I even like redirected my downloads and stuff, so they're all over the place.
God, Windows 11. How I hate you. Okay, so bear with me on some of the details, but
hey, no problem.
That should be with you now on Discord.
And also with you. This one.
If I give my champion the name Gaz, and it's a title, not a name.
Oh, okay. It's the Gaz.
The Gaz.
Okay. And TBC.
Yeah, I'll think of something for that.
Oh, I thought it was maybe like short for like Turner Broadcasting Channel or something. Cool. We got some negatives. The Notebook. Oh, well-fitted suit, like like a dress suit kind of thing, or like a protective kind of suit, or maybe both.
Oh no, it's definitely a sort of I'm trying to appear high class.
Okay.
Yeah, just give him a bit more presence when he comes across people at higher stations. Definitely trying to impress and not doing too good a job.
Oh snap. Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't got the best roles.
No, yeah, you're good. These roles are just fine. Again, not everything has to be solved by combat, but the thought I have is that, you know, everybody's rolling sort of against everything all the time, so you're always sort of involved. It's not necessarily like, oh, your AC is 15, this hits you, there's no chance that it can't, right? Like, you always have a chance, stuff like that. So cool. Waste management. Also, I do think this, if you put systems or whatever, I do think this is the name of my trash company. Waste Management Systems, I believe, is them. But I'm sure there's a million of them. Solutions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you want to run like a little campaigny, one-shotty kind of thing, or what?
Absolutely. We could definitely give it a go.
All right. Dope. Let me... that's positive. Minutify out here. Okay, I did plan some, but they are not what they were based on your other ideas, but I'm gonna give them to you anyway, basically.
Right.
So okay. You got Gaz and Tibby is just what I'm gonna call them until they have a name. They are waste management. I assume they have, like you said, offices, but they're often out on jobs. They probably do work also, or not?
Yeah, so I think the steward would often be away from the actual workplace. He's been promoted to a desk job.
Desk job, of course. But because you're trying to establish, you know, yourself. Well, you're already established, but to bring up your reputation, right? Because everyone's like, oh, the trash people, the cleaner, whatever. You have this information network, right? And you're constantly trying to bring in jobs that will elevate you, I guess. So jobs, your rumors start flying in, as they always do at the beginning of the day, right? Your steward's hanging out, looking through them. You see one that's like maybe a band of goblins has moved more north than they normally are. It's kind of odd that they're sort of venturing out beyond the woods and trees that they live in. Goblins obviously live in the forests and stuff. You've got another rumor as you flip through. There's a lot of paperwork on those goblins. It's unclear why, but someone gave you so much information on the goblins, and you're just like, oh, this is awful, right?
Why are you not doing your work? Why are you giving reports on goblins? Get back to work. Yeah.
So you've got that. You've got another one that it sounds like there's a plague or something happening off towards the coast. The rumor is very vague, but it's some sort of plague that's killing a bunch of people, maybe, like I said, along the coast. You've got another rumor, someone saw a dragon up near the mountains. Maybe you want to... They just gave you the rumor because someone said you were looking for different races and different entities, and a dragon is definitely not common, so hey, they threw it in there. And then as you know, the day wears on, there's another one that says let's see, another one. There's a rumor about Shoal Goth is what it's called. It's
Right.
It's like how do you say what they are? Like the tale that someone tells to scare like kids or whatever, like a whatever that term is that I can't think of. But there's a rumor of it, not very close, again in the north, but not up in the mountains. It's sort of, there's like a big plains area. I don't actually know where you're currently working out of. I assume you travel around, and handle the different branches, but based on where you are now, it is also to the north, up in the fields. There's a rumor that this thing actually was witnessed, basically, and it's like a nightmare that kids have, something to scare kids. Yeah. So you've got all these reports.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think, so there'd definitely be sort of two that would interest him. Mm-hmm. Definitely the plague. Mm-hmm. Like, immediately he'd be thinking, how can we adapt the suits that we use to the less pleasant things? How could we go in there and sell our services to get the streets cleared of the dead and all that. Mm-hmm. So it'd be looking for profit, definitely there. With the more that last rumor, mm-hmm. there's a possibility there that there's some kind of poisoning going on. If people are having mass hallucinations of this fairy mm-hmm. tale, it's ridiculous. True. So maybe there's something wrong there. Some kind of mining chemical has been released, or doing something wrong with the water.
Oh, the water. That's a good point.
Yep.
So both of these are kind of in this area of the map. The beach, obviously, or the coast over here on the far east side, and then the meadow, the plains right here, sort of in the middle. Goblins, of course, down here in the lower area. And the rumor of the mountains would be up over here, sort of near where Gob was, but not actually that close, but he is up here somewhere. And
it's a bit difficult because I'm trying to catch up on your stream.
Oh, yeah. I got
European
you.
problems.
Let me open it back up real quick. I'm just going to make X's then. I can always change that.
Help a lot.
All right, so we got, we'll do it in like dark red. This is a really big pin. All right. We've got our X for our planes right here. Goblins are down here. Whoa, in this really big X. The coast is over here in this X, and then mountains up here. In their corresponding colors as well. You might even be in the capital.
I think the bigger priority would would be the plague. I think that's what they would be worried about, because if that spreads,
true,
it'll make a lot of work for them. Like, trying to keep things clean, and there'll be a lot of pressure and political, problems if they're not doing their job. So
possibly
nip it in the bud. Go see if they can reinforce the office over there, if there is.
Okay. Let's, I guess, figure out roughly where you're working out of so that we can figure out what your travel looks like. Do you think you'd be working from the capital, which is the star over here on the far side?
If he's getting so many varied rumors from all over the place, I think yes, the capital would probably be where he was.
Okay. So you will also travel past this roughly, but you don't have to stop. That's cool. You and anybody you see fit to bring, I guess. Other NPCs will come with you, but you're going to travel. Let me just keep this open. We'll make it blue. You're going to travel, sort of this way. Towards the coast. It's a beautiful spring, I guess, when you're doing this. So you're headed out. There's no worry of foul wind or any of that stuff. You're just traveling along. It takes a couple weeks to get there, but you're gonna encounter people along the way, pass out handbills for your services, stuff like that. Hey, keep us in mind,
Nope.
That's, I would assume, your whole job. And
marketing.
Maybe you do some light cleaning along the way, because of course you're bringing your stuff. Make money, up to you if you want to or not, but roughly, let's see here. You're going to have to cross through the mountains, so you will need a guide there. So you probably stop maybe right here in this line. You'll stop here. It's a beautiful little town on the meadow. There's very, very tall elves living here. Not fair skin. They're pretty tan. A lot of these elves are farmers, sheep herders. Some of them have oxen, cows, all that sort of very pedestrian stuff. And this would probably be the best place to stop before you get into the more rural areas. It's a larger town conglomerate of these elves that live in the plains, because of course elves make sense living in plains, not in the trees.
Yeah. Okay, of course.
So you guys roll into town, your crew. There's a tavern, obviously, because there's always a tavern. Then what?
You gotta have a tavern.
Yeah. There's always a tavern every place. There's also houses, sort of. It actually looks like a planned community now. There may have been non-planned in the past, but because it's grown so large, they sort of redesigned. They got a main street. There's a mayor building. I don't know what you would call it. I was going to say courthouse, but the courts run a little differently, so it's not a courthouse, but there is a main hall for city business, and then there's, if you want to buy provisions, we got a couple shops, in the area. That's what you got.
A village center, sort of.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if I was coming in immediately trying to be the businessman and the higher up person, I'd immediately go and speak to the mayor and try and gather some information on the plague. So yeah, I would probably leave the crew behind and just bring the Gaz, aka the bodyguard.
Okay. Okay.
And approach the mayor's quarters, I guess.
Tibby and Gaz roll up. You got some really bored dude sitting in a chair, and he's like, kind of dozing out in front of the building. It is labeled in a common language. Hey, do you speak any other languages, by the way?
Would he? Brilliance isn't that high. I don't know. How many languages are there in this world?
Roughly 12. There are dialects that people don't really use anymore that you can find all over the place, but roughly 12 is what I worked out. You've got ancient goblin language that even they sort of make up all the time, and then there are there are other languages that if you so chose, we would just sort of make it into whatever you wanted. But the very generic, demon language, human before common kind of language, which is what common came from. Humanoid, anyway, not human. But and then
I think
elves, elvish.
I think he would probably know Elvish then. And probably just street slang from the main city as well.
Oh, street slang. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is identified in Elvish. It's like city business kind of. It's got a title, but it's in Elvish, so it's like I actually don't know any Elvish because I don't care about elves.
Oh no, I don't expect you to.
I was gonna try and like make it seem like it. Anyway, so yeah, it just says it above the door, right? And then there's this what you would say is a guard, but he's asleep out front in a chair. There's I guess a spear sort of propped near him. He's wearing some gear that might indicate he's combat ready, but not very strong or anything like that. It's definitely not a suit of armor, right? And he's like dozing next to the door that you walk up to.
In this case, I'll take the broad shield. I'll walk up and I just grab the spear and just sort of move it side to side a little bit, just wiggle, wake him up.
You're gonna take his spear that's leaning next to him?
So as it's leaning, I just grab it and move it.
Oh, okay, right.
Just a little bit.
So you startle him awake?
Take him up, start him awake, yeah.
He's like very concerned immediately, but he lets go of the spear and he's like trying to grab nothing, He's like, yeah, hey.
I wouldn't have been holding the spear, so it's definitely fallen on the ground.
Yeah, it just falls, clatters. It's like, he's like, hey, yeah, who goes there? Hey, what do you want? What do you want?
I'd like to speak to the mayor, of course.
The mayor? Nobody sees the mayor. Yeah. Nobody.
Well then, why is the door closed? Why aren't you here? Just close the door.
Oh, well, nobody ever wants to see the mayor, really. I guess you could if you wanted to. It's just nobody ever comes here, so.
Yeah, I do want to see them.
Are you sure?
I said I did. Yes.
Oh.
Why wouldn't I want to see the mayor?
Okay, 1 second. And he hustles in, right? And the door slams. And he's like, hey, mayor, someone's here to see you. And there's a bunch of rustling and you can hear furniture being moved and stuff like that, right? And then and then you hear, come in, yelled through the door.
Does it sound like he's putting on a deep voice intentionally?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this one's going to be immediately. Start walking in.
It's him, but he's put on sort of a not a powdered wig, but an official looking sort of brown wig, right? That's styled with curls, and he's he's got a bunch of papers spread all over the desk and stuff. And he's like, come in, yes, the mayor, that's me, Alondriel, the mayor. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes.
How can I help you?
Well, I was wondering, have you heard any news of this incident to the east?
The east? Super east? You mean the mountains? Yeah, it's snowing. Mm-hmm. Yep, I know. Yep.
Right. Yes, and I'm sure you have lots of people that go over those mountains.
Oh, so yeah.
Obviously, it's a prosperous town you have here.
Right.
You obviously must do a lot of trade to the city to the east.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cities all along the mountain ranges. Oh, you mean the coast also? Yep, definitely along the coast. Yep. We got, and he's holding up paper, sort of flipping through it. I guess roll roll brilliance. Let's see here.
Okay. So what am I doing here? I'm rolling it.
So you'll roll a d20.
Okay, bear with me. Set this up.
And you're rolling as the steward, it seems like.
Yep.
All right. Good call.
So I've rolled an 18.
All right. That definitely beats poor Alondriel. Alondriel's papers are upside down, definitely. He's not looking at anything. He's trying to look around the room, trying to figure out what he should tell you. But this man, he's not lying. He just doesn't know. Yep. He's incompetent, basically, right? So he's like, yeah, we get business all the time from everywhere. It's we get from the north, the south, the east, you name it. We do a ton of trade. Beautiful town that we have here, so everyone wants to come hang out here. Yep.
Right. Do you have anyone here that tends to do that trade for you that we could speak to?
Ooh, yeah. Well, I sign off on a lot of the paperwork, make sure everything's right as rain. Yeah. If you're looking for like people who handle the actual, I guess, items and things like that, we do have a porter's guild, I guess you could call it, a porter's house, not guild. Well, I mean, they could call it whatever they want. So yeah, it's porter's guild, but it is a house, right? And yeah, the porter's guild would probably be where you're looking. If you're looking to like do some trade or buy some stuff, I'm mostly an official. I make sure the town's running smoothly. Yep.
Well, I mean, apart from that one issue you have, of course, yeah.
Issue? What issue is that?
Well, of course, I mean, the sanitation, of course, is just awful around here. I mean, you've got all your animals out in the fields, and also all the water is coming off of it into your water supply. It's just terrible. I mean, all the villagers out there are quite upset, to be honest, as we're walking through. They are. Finally, we're here to help.
Nobody came and told me. What?
And I use my verbal diarrhea here to sort of.
Yeah, but you're lying, right? Like you're making it up? Okay, so yeah, we're gonna roll against each other here. You'll roll lying. I guess let's do brilliance for that, and I'll roll against you.
Okay.
I'm just gonna use the stats from this other sheet that I have. These, because Alondriel doesn't have stats, because I just made them up.
Absolutely fine.
All right, easy.
So do my items always add that bonus, or is it just if I'm using that item?
So they add in, your items add into your D6, which would be normally combat or defense or something like that.
Right.
Your abilities are the things that will boost your D20s.
Right, so for instance, of brilliance, I've got my notebook, so I'd definitely be pulling out my notebook and making some just superficial scratchings on it, really, as I lie and
okay,
make myself look official.
Right, of course.
Well, you've got this issue, and you've seen this offload from this field that's going right here. I mean, that's just not healthy. It's sort of.
Alondriel tosses every piece of paper he's holding, and he opens up a book to sort of match your like looking through bookness kind of stature. So he's got a book,
That's why I want to use verbal diarrhea. I want to go faster than he can keep up.
Okay. So yeah, if you roll a d20.
Okay. I got a 20.
Oh my gosh. Cool. Okay, so that would be, if you're your steward, it would be a -1 and then a +4. So
yes,
you crush Alondriel's 14, and so he looks alarmed, like an expert standing in front of him, right? And you're just like droning on, and he's not only concerned, but he's also like, how do I get out of this situation? And you see him like, we gotta get this handled, right? And so he like walks over to the window, and he like flips up the window. He's like, hey, and he's yelling at a building sort of down the street, right? And you see some dude, walk out. He's got like an apron on, but it's, the like business sort of apron with a bunch of like tool stuff in it. Really big muscles, and he's like, what? Because they don't even need to use each other's names. And he's like, we got an issue. You gotta the waste. And he just starts yelling like, the waste, right? And this really gruff guy is like, send him over, send him over. And so he like slams down the window and turns around and adjusts his clothes. And Alondriel says like, we have someone on it already. If you'll kindly make your way to the Porter's Guild, I'll have everything handled for you. We'll get this waste in check right as rain. And he like dusts off his hands like he's done something and sits back down.
Yeah, and absolutely. And of course, you'll pass the inspection that's coming, of course. If you didn't need any Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you need any help? Of course, we could absolutely. I'll organise it with him, and I'll just get you to come and sign it when.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Very busy here. Very busy. And he like picks up his shoes for some reason, and he's like putting them into the book. And he's like, I gotta do there's a shoe fiasco occurring. And like, you just sort of, you see him making like a pile basically of all this random stuff that he's pulling in, making it look like he's doing something, but he's just lost it at this point in the panic. And yeah, so you want to head towards the Porter's Guild?
I do, yes.
All right, as you leave, Alondriel is making his stack. You're going to walk down the street. There's a couple buildings that look like they're maybe an inn, and then there's another one that's probably like a general store, and then you make it to this very big building that kind of looks like a warehouse. There's a lot of carts and animals moving in and out, crates of random stuff. It's very busy, and then you have this very gruff person that you've seen standing sort of at the front, overlooking everything and making sure everything's going well. He says, as you walk up, he says, "Greetings, travelers. I'm Stu. I'm the leader of the Porters Guild. The mayor sent you."
Greetings, Stu. Yes, absolutely. He obviously, you could hear he's quite distressed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I take it that's a usual, but any. We were just obviously talking about the east and getting across the mountains, and I'd love to talk to you about any of that later and find an expert on that. But it came up that some of the refuse is going in from the fields, is going into the river nearby, and he was very concerned because obviously we work in sanitation and we have a crew here, so.
You're not from around here, then, I take it.
Well, we do have offices, obviously, to the east and to the west. So we're
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, this city's been here for, honestly, hundreds of years at this point, and you're coming in talking about waste and the river. The river is beautiful. Have you seen the river yet? You probably crossed over it, in a couple of bridges and stuff. It's just a river. It's a beautiful river.
Yeah. I'm sure it's full of disease, though.
Disease, huh? Okay, let's roll against this guy. This is going to be a lot different.
Absolutely, I love it.
You can roll brilliance against him too. Oof.
Yeah. Don't say that. Oh, I've rolled a 3.
19.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if you had used an ability, it wouldn't have mattered.
Nope.
Stu is unfazed. Sounds like you're selling me a load of waste. I don't think we need your services, especially because we've been handling everything so well so far. Is there anything else I can help you with?
When the plague reaches here, you'll be able to clear it from your waters?
What plague is that?
Well, I have reports here, and I'll show him the notebook.
Yeah, he's definitely going to look at the notes, yeah.
Yeah, so I can tell he's... Yeah, and I just point to actual factual stuff now. Yeah, right. Reports of a plague to the east that is killing many, many people, and it's been spreading. This is the primary reason what we're here.
Yeah, we have not heard of a plague, actually. Seems like right on the cusp of where we would hear about it. Doesn't look like there's a plague occurring. There have been a lot of deaths, it's true. But, that's our region's business. It's definitely not a plague.
Come on. I don't want to cause panic. Obviously. Yeah. And I won't be going around, and obviously you seem to be a very important person in this town, which is why I'm telling you. I'm not going to be telling anyone else, but this is an issue.
Right, panic, right. Come with me. And he like turns around and, you know, walks up those classic steps up to an office that's sort of above the warehouse area. He goes in, you know, there's also a lot of paper on his desk, if you follow, which I assume you would. Bunch of paper and everything, but it's all organized very neat. There are books on the wall that are labeled in, you know, the year numerical system, and there are facts, figures. Basically everything is beautifully organized here. And he says, you know, he ushers you in. He says, sit down.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Now, he sits across from you and, you know, does that lean forward with both of his arms on the desk. You mention a plague. You mention a lot of death. It seems like you've traveled a long way for this plague, but I gotta tell you, there's no plague. There have been a lot of people who have died, as I mentioned, but their deaths are unknown, I guess you would call it. We've had a lot of reports from villages across the coast, across the mountains, all down the coast, reporting that people are leaving town, wherever they live, and then vanishing and not reporting back after they vanish. So there is no plague. I don't know who told you that, but unfortunately, you know, your facts are wrong. So that's it. Yep.
Right. And have any disappeared from this side of the mountains?
This side, no. We've sent people, you know, just as a caution to see what was happening. They all come back just fine. They report that towns seem to have less people in them. There's a lot of movement along the coast, but no plague, it seems like, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for us, unfortunately for you, I guess you want a plague, which is very strange, but who knows?
I'm just looking after the interests in the cities to the east. The dead city doesn't give us any money. Let's be honest. Well,
true.
There are more ways to this. You say it's not a plague, and it does seem to be that way if your people haven't brought it back. But poisoning, various things that in my field can cause these sort of symptoms. Delirium.
True. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe there is a kind of toxin. So it would still be relevant to us to go across these mountains.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to go where you want. Just wanted to give you the information without you standing in front of the warehouse blabbering about a plague that doesn't exist. So I just wanted to give you that info. And then also, just so you know, you can roll at any time for anything if you want to check stuff.
Yeah.
If you wanted to check him and see if he's being legit above board and stuff, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I can give it a go. See if he looks sort of nervous, or see if I'm sort of looking to see if I believe him. Suspicious.
Yeah, so you would just roll, I guess, brilliance, and
yep.
I rolled
an 8.
I rolled presence. I rolled presence for him, just to, because he's basically acting as an official. So he, even with your 8, there's no visibility of him, you know, lying or making anything up. It seems like he's the kind of person that would never spend the time wasted just to lie to you, right? It seems like he has legitimate reports, and those reports state that it's just people leaving town, basically moving from one place to another, like he said. I mean, you're welcome to look through the reports and stuff if you'd like. I have stuff to do, so I will go do that, but I can leave you with the reports if you want.
Sure. Yeah, I'll look through these.
All right, great. He goes to his filing system. There's like a ton of books, like I said. He pulls out like a couple specific ones, lays them down, and then each of them is like identified, has tabs sticking out of all this information. He flips directly to the reports that you need, and he flips them around towards you. He's like, "You're welcome to look through these. I'll be down on the floor." And he leaves you fully trusting that he is in full control, right? Like,
Yep.
he has stuff to do, and he's gonna go do it. And then if you will roll brilliance on these reports. Oops.
I rolled another 8, so plus 2.
An 8.
Not
So
bad.
a 10, the information's all laid out there. There's reports from 3 different towns. The town that you got the report of the plague from is one of them. This report says that 3 young men had left town in order to go and I guess make a fortune. That's what their families reported, right?
Right.
But they have not received letters or anything back from them. And the report also indicates which town they were going to. The town is roughly the same distance from where you are to the coast. It is down the coast. And then you have the second report that indicates that there's a young woman missing. She left town again, similarly, to go make money for her father, who is ailing and can't work as hard as he used to. No reports back from her. She also went a very long distance away down the coast. And then, just to make sure, the third report is one of the towns that is way down the coast, right? And that one indicates 2 men went north to try and find fortune and have not reported back.
Okay. Well, I'll just sort of be speaking to Gaz now. He'd be there, I'm assuming, lurking in the background. Seems that this is just some kind of classic scam. But they're telling tales of plagues over there, and this is going to spread, and we're not doing anything about it. Just going to come straight back on us. So bloody, this is a waste of money, but we're just going to go over there. We're just going to find out what's going on.
Okay.
Stop it. Stop all the bloody rumours. And we can just say that we were checking in on the local office as well.
Awesome. I do want to say that you could go to the other 2 directions also, if you so chose.
I would think we would just investigate this, because it's bad for business. The others are just rumours. Yeah, right. This one's bad for business. Because that rumour's going to just keep spreading until it's stopped. And this is the actual truth from that. I would probably look to see who made these reports, because that's to look for a sort of name of a guide I could use. Okay.
Yeah. So the reports are from several individuals from Alondriel's town, which is called Meadowsea. I don't know why. I'll try and remember that later. And then
I won't.
Well, it doesn't matter. So that's where you are. You're in Meadowsea. The first report is from a town called what are those? It's just called the Shoals. Sure, we'll go with that. It's called the Shoals. Okay. It's in the north. That's the northernmost one. The reports are all made by people from Meadowsea, the town you're in. So they went, they investigated, they came back. But it does have names of several of the people who, just NPC names. You'll find them when you get there, I guess, if you go. The middle one is Rock Bluff, very classic. It's actually up on a like a cliff or whatever. And then the one that's very far south is called Bayside. It's a very small town, and Bayside doesn't have a ton of people in it. But that's where the 2 people came from. Rock Bluff is where the single woman came from, and then the Shoals is where the 3 people came from.
Yeah, so it sounds like the two from the going south and then the one at the bottom's going north. So somewhere between those 2 points is where I'd want to aim for. But I need a guide from this village side. That's what I was getting the names from.
Okay.
Reports. Just to get the names of who did the reporting so we can...
Oh, gotcha. In this town.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In Meadowsea. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, so I guess you can leave those reports and then Alan is the one that seems the most reliable. His report is basically the longest and most detailed.
Wonderful. That's a good sign. I would probably at this point then go back down to the... Was it Stu? Was it?
Yeah, Stu. Yeah.
Stu.
Stu.
Okay, well...
Yeah.
I'm going to go and check this out, because this isn't good for business, it's just rumours. Because these rumours are spreading.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Do you know... And can you borrow Adam? Because we need to get across this mountain. It seems like he's done the best report. He knows what he's talking about.
Alan?
Alan.
Yeah. He does that whistle that I can't do that's incredibly loud and short, and there's some guy who's pulling a handcart kind of thing, and he's like, Alan, come here. And so Alan comes over. He's like, yes, boss. And Stu says hey, tell him about the I guess Alan would have done the 3 from the very far north. So tell him about the men that went missing. He's like, all right, boss. I went to town. I went to the Shoals, and I talked to some people because, you were asking me to, find out. And, some families just have people that are missing. It's not anything big or anything. They just haven't sent letters.
Yes, well, they have been referred to as deaths, but would you be willing to guide us across the mountains to a certain point? And I'd probably pull out a map and just point at the sort of a mid between the two towns.
He looks at Stu. Hold on. Let me roll this real quick. Okay. Okay. He looks at Stu.
I need a guide.
Yeah, I did. What would Stu say? You want to take one of my men on this sort of worthless mission or worthless adventure just so you could get over there? What? We got a lot to do. He waves at this bustling warehouse behind you. He's like, really? You're going to take someone away from this?
I'm going to hire someone from this.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess I can't stop you. Stu, or I'm Stu. Alan.
But you are.
It's up to you, boy. If you want to make a little extra cash, that's fine. And I was like, all right. It's not that difficult. There's an established route, but yeah, I can take you. No problem. It's
brilliant.
Let's see, how much would he charge? I didn't bring this up in the last one because Gob had no interest in money. But
classic. Yep.
Yeah, classic. Money is actually an idea that I had for a different project, but it's called Sphere, and it is these little balls that have markings etched into them, and then when you put two together, they basically act like magnets to stick together, but they are tiny balls called Sphere, and there are gold, silver, and copper sphere.